Bumblebee tuna. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the barbershop. Thank you so much for being here. If you like this video, remember to drop a like. Please don't forget, because I love you so much. Today, I'm going to talk with you about the new confirmed legendary in DLC Part 2, the Indigo Disc of the hidden treasure of Area Zero, Terapagos. Oh, you think you already know all about him, huh? Nah, no you don't. I'm gonna blow your mind. Let's go. According to Bulbapedia.com, Terapagos may be based on a sea turtle, specifically the Galapagos green turtle, a population of green sea turtles found on the Galapagos Islands. It may also be based on a Galapagos tortoise. So clearly we can obviously see it's either a turtle or a tortoise. We see what it looks like, right? Terapagos may also reference the world turtle, a mythical turtle found in various mythologies that is said to carry the world upon its back. Its hairy appearance may be a reference to Japanese legends of the Minogame, a turtle which lived for 10,000 years and grew a tail made of seaweed. It may also take inspiration from chitons, a marine mollusk with a flat disc-shaped body and eyes that are peripherals composed of rock. Now, Terapagos' name is obviously Terra and Galapagos, right? And Galapagos is Spanish for turtle. And Terra is obviously the terrestrialization phenomenon and also means land. I think it's Latin. Where does Terra come from? It's Greek. It's Greek. So Terra means land and it's Greek. So obviously this is the land tortoise. And if you take a look here at the drawing, the depiction of Terapagos from the Scarlet and Violet book, you can see that it does look like the world tortoise that is a huge, massive turtle, right? And we've all seen the theory, right, that the entire Paldea region is Terapagos itself. More on that in a minute, and I'll spoil it for you now. It's just not. The big thing about this picture are the stars and the planets around here. So clearly it's trying to tell you that this is a huge planet, right? This big sphere you see here with the turtle on top. It's definitely referencing the world tortoise, right? Because you can see how its tail is making waves that this ship is actually sailing on. And it's trying to show you that this thing is huge. It's a massive landmass, right? Like Paldea, right? So it makes sense that it would be a whole region, but more on it in a minute. Also in the Scarlet and Violet book, reads the description here is kind of blocked out. But what it says here is a disc Pokemon. While separated from the research team in the crater's depths, I found a strange entity. Whether it was a Pokemon or even alive at all, I know not. It bore a shell with layers of overlapping hexagons and gleamed brighter than a gemstone. Viewed as a whole, it resembled a mysterious, brilliant disc. So we obviously have all looked at and seen this picture and read that it's all about hexagons and the description of it, but clearly we can see that Terapagos has pentagon-shaped crystals forming the shell on its back with all the different Pokemon typing symbols inside there, right? Clearly this Pokemon is going to be a Pokemon centered around terrestrialization and may even be the Pokemon that is responsible for all terrestrialization, which only happens in Paldea. So we're making progress here. Now, is terrestrialization a form of evolution? And is Terapagos going to be this same disc Pokemon that's discussed in the Scarlet and Violet book? I think yes, but it is not the final form of Terapagos. It is most certainly going to have another form where it fully embraces the hexagonal pattern, whether it grows much larger and has a different shaped shell and forms a solid, full standing, almost bipedal body like Zygarde, right? And Zygarde had 4 forms. You had the cell form, the dog form, the Zygarde snake form, Zygarde 50%. And then after it was fully put together with all the Zygarde cells, which are hexagonal, by the way, it became Zygarde Complete, Big Daddy form. So that is something I think is going to be very similar to what's going on here with Terapagos. Now, the Galapagos Island is an archipelago of volcanic islands. They are distributed on each side of the equator in the Pacific Ocean, surrounding the center of the Western Hemisphere and are part of the Republic of Ecuador. Located 900 kilometers west of continental Ecuador, the islands are known for their large number of endemic species. These were studied by Charles Darwin during his second voyage of the HMS Beagle. His observations and collections contributed to the inception of Darwin's theory of evolution, by means of natural selection. The Galapagos Islands, if you don't already know, is a very isolated area of nature where a lot of microevolution has been allowed to flourish because it's been really untampered with and uninhabited by humans, and there have been growth and changes of small species in the area. So it's really associated with the idea of Darwin's theory of evolution, but it's definitely allows for a lot of microevolution and small changes over time. This definitely also ties in the idea of Pokemon evolution and the idea of terrestrialization. So Terapagos is obviously terrestrialization, Galapagos, and this turtle or this tortoise that has all the typings in its shell on its back and these different crystals, and then you see the center crystal on its back is the terrestrialization crystal in the middle, right? Now, the turtle actually does resemble Paldea. The tortoise is turtle, tortoise, whatever you want to call it, is resembling Paldea. I think it's probably a tortoise because those live much, much longer than turtles. It does have the same layout of Paldea, and it definitely looks like it. And I think that there will be some tie-in and it will be related. But Paldea is not going to come alive and come out of the water and start moving. I don't believe that's going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not Groudon. But the center crystal in its back, the main terrestrialization crystal, is similar to the crater of Paldea in the center, where the terrestrialization phenomenon, as far as we think and know, has started, right? There's still so much to be unpacked in the DLC about what is going on with the terrestrialization phenomenon, with the time travel to the future and the past, and how these changes and the Pokemon, right? The paradox Pokemon are changing from the past to the present and from the present to the future. Now, do you remember this crystal scene where we're inside all this shimmering crystals, and there's a Pokeball flying through here, and it's from the original trailer release of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This may be inside. You see all these crystals, right? This may be inside the final form of Terapagos, where there is time travel and there is the light, right? We see the light reflecting and refracting, which is how it's, again, we're getting back to the same theories we were talking about when the game first dropped, right? The light has a lot to do with the time travel and the bending of the light and changing the time and almost the reality is what's allowing for the changing of the type through this turtle. It's going to be the original Pokemon that started the changing of the light and therefore the changing of the type in the Paldea region and in the Pokemon universe itself. Now, obviously, there have been more leaks showing, basically confirmed by Ku, that certain Pokemon are going to get new terrestrialization forms. Definitely going to be the starters are going to get new forms. Now, we don't know the exact gimmick quite yet. I'm sure he's going to leak more about that. But if you take a look here at the hidden treasure of Area Zero symbol, and you see the O in zero, right? We see the crystals, we see those we see those shining reflections of light. We see blue, a blue kind of diamond here, yellow, green, and red. What colors are those? Fire, water, grass, and electric starters. Now, as far as the yellow goes, I don't know. Pikachu? But we're certainly going to be getting, our starters are going to be getting new terrestrialization forms. But I think that's going to come in part 1 with Ogerpon and the mask. I think the mask is going to have a lot to do with changing your type initially. That mask is going to be some sort of artifact or blessing from Terapagos, which all terrestrialization and type change evolution and time travel with the light is based on through its shell. It's all coming through here. This Pokemon, Terapagos, from its shell is where all these other terrestrialization shards and crystals that we're seeing in Area Zero have come from, right? All these reflections that you're seeing down there when you're in Area Zero. So that's where they're calling it the hidden treasure of Area Zero. It's all right in front of our face, but we aren't seeing, it's not all put together for us yet because they're going to reveal it all in the DLC. Now, again, these are pentagons on the shell of Terapagos' back with all the typing crystals built into the shell. These are not the hexagonal disc plates that are shown in the symbol, the icon for the hidden treasure of Area 0. This is not the final form of Terapagos, which certainly will have another form and be involved in the hexagonal Terra crystals. It does have the 1 in the center of its back, and we know the terrestrialization is based on a hexagonal crystal disc. It's in all the masks, right? Game Freak and Nintendo and Pokemon Company know what a hexagon is and know what a pentagon is. So this is not the final form. This is not the final Terapagos. This is the base form that is responsible for terrestrialization. Now, what is Terapagos as a Pokemon in general? It is, ladies and gentlemen, our very first and only question mark type Pokemon. Okay? Hear me out. They nerfed Protean and Libero. Protean and Libero only change your type on your first move that you use. It doesn't change again following that. So they nerfed it to be just that. This Pokemon is going to have an ability that is essentially like the old Protean and old Libero, that every time it uses a move, it changes its type to fit that move. Very similar to the Legend plate from Legends Arceus, where it was able to change its typing every time it used a move. And because of this power that it has, being basically in control of all the types and letting the light shine through its shell and come out the middle of its shell, and it has the ability to change types, it is going to be the shards from this Pokemon that allow the starters and a handful of other Pokemon like Mega Evolution to change their typing, or change their form, I should say, into an upgraded or almost a mega form of terrestrialization. Terapagos' shell is made out of a crystal with 18 irregular pentagons on top, decorated with differently colored symbols that appear to resemble all 18 type icons. On the center of its shell is a small hexagonal protrusion with a white hexagon on top of it, with triangular extensions in each corner that connect to the edges of the protrusion, slightly resembling the icon of a terrestrial phenomenon. The sides of its shell also have 3 obtuse pentagons, each on the rim of the shell. However, these ones are a solid light blue color. This Pokemon is the terrestrialization phenomenon embodied into a Pokemon that resembles the world turtle, that resembles the Paldea region, that is depicted here as the world turtle in the Scarlet and Violet book, that is supposed to be huge, that is an island Pokemon that resembles the Galapagos Island of evolution. This is the terrestrialization evolution phenomenon embodied into a Pokemon. Terrestrialization is the original evolution. This is a timeless Pokemon that has been around since the very beginning. Okay? We're just now discovering it in Generation 9. But I don't know how they're gonna tie this in with Arceus and with Mew being the original Pokemon, but both of those are supposed to be the first Pokemon ever, right? So the lore has kind of changed over time. This Pokemon may not be the very first Pokemon, but this is going to be the first Pokemon maybe created by Arceus that started evolution and type change and Pokemon evolution. So it will be very cool to see the final form of Terapagos and how we unlock him, and our first question mark Pokemon with the new Protean ability that changes type every time it uses a move. It can learn any move and every move in the game, like Mew. But this Pokemon that you're seeing on your screen is not the island of Paldea. And you can quote me on that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Drop a like if you like this. Take care. God bless.